State Attorney comes in the mail twice a year. We're talking about your property tax bills. Our NBC5 response team has been taking a closer look at some of the flaws within the system here in our area.
But tonight, instead of problems, we want to talk about potential solutions, what changes could be made. NBC5's Rose Schmidt shows us what a few other states have done.
Data shows Illinois homeowners are paying on average 24% more for property taxes than in 2019. That squeeze highlighted last year for families on Chicago's south and west sides.
My taxes through the roof. Okay, meaning that I wasn't even expecting this amount.
I've had to go out and hustle, put my life on the line, drive an Uber just to pay my property tax.
As values drop for commercial properties in the Loop, the tax burden shifted to homeowners. But let's zoom out for a second.
Illinois is near, compared to all states in the country, I think we're the second from the most reliant on property taxes.
UIC professor David Merriman has been heavily involved in property tax reform. If he could wave a magic wand.
Where I would say I would like to put our priorities on is less reliance on the property taxes, find other systems to fund the schools.
He points to examples in other states, starting with Michigan. More than 30 years ago, cries for property tax relief led Michigan voters to approve an overhaul of the system. It changed how Michigan schools were funded. Less reliance on the local property tax. Instead, the sales tax went up and a new state education tax was created. Now to the 7 counties that make up the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro. This was the nation's first experience with tax-based sharing, according to a nonpartisan think tank that studies taxation. Since 1971, a portion of the property tax revenue has been shared throughout the Minneapolis area to make resource distribution more equitable.
And that idea has been brought up for many years in this region, but we seem to be much more insular here, and we're less willing to think about the community as a whole.
And finally, we want to mention Florida, where Governor Ron DeSantis has called for property taxes to be eliminated.
Our citizens have been squeezed by escalating property tax assessments and millage increases at the local level.
3 different proposals are on the table, but opponents are concerned city budgets would be slashed and city services cut. Realtor.com found 13 states have proposals to eliminate property taxes, though some are more serious efforts than others.
They talk about getting rid of property taxes for residential homeowners, nobody else, which means businesses would still pay taxes, and which also means renters, I presume, would still have their property would be taxed as well. That seems to me grossly unfair.
States have weighed the pros and cons of all these structures over the years. The biggest question, when you rely less on property taxes, what do you replace them with so that schools and services like police and fire are still properly funded? Rose Schmidt, NBC5 News.